Hi guys, welcome to the part 3 of this video series where I'm going to talk about or take you through the part 3 of Django documentation of Django 3. So in this tutorial we will actually dig more into views and actually try to add some functions into it. So the first thing is that like we created view for the index, the same way we are going to create a view for details, results and vote. So let's first copy it and pasted it here. So all it's doing is that it's same like this view is same like index. The only difference is that now it's taking one more parameter or one more argument, which is called question ID. So let's save it first and I'll tell you where it comes from. It comes from here. So in the polls / URLs, we specify that this integer question ID, and if that's and this question ID actually gets passed to these views, and then we populate it here. Like when we get question ID, it gets populated here, that you are looking at the results of question this, whatever we get here. For example, if we go and put 45, okay, sorry, we need to first put it okay. Now it should work, I think. Yeah, it is working. In the same way, results, let's look at results. Yeah, you are looking at the results of question 5. The same way, vote, you are voting on question 5. But one thing to note here is that there is no such question ID as 45. It's not doing anything with the database now. We can put anything like 45,000 and it will still work, because it's doing nothing. It's just taking the question ID from here and populating it on the view. So scroll down. Yeah, in detail it has explained here that what's happening in the background. So when we load the view detail, it is actually turning request into this HTTP request object and question ID. So that question ID turns into so in our case here, when we did 45 for example, or let's do 50, what happened here, that this request turned into this and question ID turned into 50 is equal to 50. So that's what happened. And then when we are loading it here, that's what happened. Yeah. Let's just scroll down. And it just says that even if you put .html in there, it will still work, but it's no good. Even if we do like results .html, it will still work. But it's not a good practice. Yeah, there's no use of this .html. You can even do dot Google or something. It's the same thing. Yeah, but there is no use of this extension here, so we can simply keep it as results and it will work fine. Write views that actually do something. Each view is responsible for doing one of two things: returning an HTTP response, which is doing in this case, or returning or an exception, HTTP 404 means not found. Okay, let's go to index views and see what it's doing. So it created a variable called question.objects.order by published date and show us the last 5, and output is, so separate all the values. Basically we get 5 from this, the latest 5 questions, and we loop through all those 5 and separate it by comma and return HTTP response. So let's see what happens with this. Replace it with this. Now we are actually doing some database thing. We are pulling something from the database. But don't forget that we have to import it here, otherwise it won't work. Let's go to polls. Yeah, because we have got only one, so it will show only one. We will add few more. We can add few more. Let's do it. Questions. Another question. Date today, time now. Save it. Another question, comma. If we want maybe like separate it with a line break, we can. Yeah, but as I promised, I will like to keep it as it is in the documentation. Let's actually do that. Yeah. Put the following code in the template. Sorry. First, there's a problem here though. The page's design is hard coded in the view. If you want to change the way the page looks, you'll have to edit the Python code. So which we don't want to do. So what we are going to do is first create a directory called templates inside the polls app. New directory polls, sorry, templates, and inside that, let's actually have a look. Yeah, now the thing is that we have to keep template namespacing in mind, that even though we can simply get away with like putting our template files here, but that's not a good practice. The good practice is that we also we put the templates inside a folder with the app name as the folder name. So we will create another folder inside this called, come on, yeah, called polls, and inside that we will put the templates. The reason for that is that it doesn't clash with any other templates. So for example, we have got any other app called maybe blogs, and it has got a template folder in there, and inside that, if we are looking for index page or something, we'll just simply search for, okay, there is template, and in that is index.html. This might be the template, but it's not the case. That template is for blog. So in that case, we to avoid that, we do this namespacing. So now if we create another file inside this polls folder, it won't happen. It won't clash with any other app, any other view, because it has got the app name here, and there can be only one folder with the one name. So there can't be multiple folder with same name. So which is a good practice though, that how we are following it now. So we create another file in that, and we call it index.html. That's a view file, index.html, and let's put everything from here to here. If latest question list, did we define latest question? Yeah, here. Yeah, if latest, we have to update our index view now to load the view. So let's see what we are doing now. So earlier we had this. So this latest question list, we are not making any changes in that variable, but we are deleting everything after that and replacing it with this. So the is template name. Template is equal to loader.getTemplate. Loader.getTemplate polls/index.html. So what this get template will do, it will search whole directory, all the template directory, and search for if there is any file exist in a folder called polls. So imagine if there was something called template, so it would have just picked up anyone. So in this case it will pick the right one. So we save it, not now, sorry, and then context, and context is equal to latest question list. So what happens that this becomes a variable when it goes to the view. So latest question list is equal to latest question list. So this bit, whatever is fetched from here, get passed here, and we can access it on this view, index view, and then return HTTP response, render this template, because we have defined the template here, and render it with this variable and request. Now let's look at it. Loader is not defined. Oh, I think we have to import the loader. Import loader. Done. That code loads the template called polls. Yeah, should load now. Yeah, it's loading now. So whatever changes we do with this index template will be shown here. If we do, for example, in case we want to simply add 2 question mark here, it will show here. So we will leave it as it is, and now comes a shortcut, and that shortcut is render. So they think that instead of doing all HTTP response and all, we can simply render it. So again, we are not making any changes in this variable, and context as well, we are not making any changes in that. All we are doing is that instead of HTTP response, we are doing render. Yeah, it's the same thing with the shortcut. Oh, we need to import the render now. That's the mistake everyone does in the beginning. Yeah, so there is no change in the view. The view hasn't changed. It's just that we are using a different method now to load the view. And raising a 404 error. So in this case, what it's doing is that it will try to search that question with the primary key what we provide. This is for detail view, by the way. We need to change it. We can't hard code it. It will try to fetch that question by passing the question ID, but if it doesn't exist, it will raise an error. And you might be thinking that why not just show text HTTP response? Why are we loading HTTP 404? The reason is that we don't only program our applications just for the humans, we also program it for bots, or we really want to check whether it's a good practice to provide 404 code. I'll tell you how it works. Let's save it, and definition detail, let's remove it, replace it with this one. And so if we do polls 1, sorry, that doesn't exist now. I need to first create the detail.html. Inside polls folder, templates, new file, detail.html. So if I do it, yeah, it returned that question. But if I do, okay, we have got 2 questions, but if I do like 5, because it's not there, it's raised HTTP 404. Sorry, it's not defined because we haven't even imported it yet. So we need to kind of, let's see, yeah, from Django.http import, you can just put it here. Yeah, this is a 404 error. So the difference is that if you go to network and refresh it, you see that 404, we will look at for 200. So 200 means it's okay, page loaded, whatever we were looking for, we found it. And 404 means it doesn't exist. So that's what happened here. That's the use of raising 404 error. Now there is another shortcut, and that is get object or 404. Okay, get object or 404. So let's go to the same thing, detail. So we don't need to do try, except, and all now. All we have to do is, instead of writing questions.object.get, all that, we don't need to do anything from here. We just define this variable, that question is equal to get object or 404. So it will try to search for this object question with the primary key question ID that we provide, and once it has found it, load this view and pass the question as variable, or if it doesn't find it, then it will show the same 404 error. So let's see. Oh, we need to define 404 now. From Django.shortcuts, yeah, so it will work like same before. Network, let's refresh it, we get 200. Let's put something else here, 25, we get 404. So good, that's a properly written code. There are others as well we can use if we want, but we'll move on. Use the template system. So let's go to this detail template, and instead of just putting question, we can even do question dot underscore text, or maybe ID. Yeah, or maybe all of these. So it's not showing any choice because it hasn't got any. So let's add some choices to these questions. So choices, add a choice for this question, choice for another question, save it, add choice, another choice for another question, and save it. Yeah, so it is actually loading the choice as well now. So we'll see how it works. For choice n question dot choice set all. So I think how it works is that it will try to look for well, this bit I think is kind of a construct or something. It returns set, and this is where we decide that all the choices that we have got, return those if they belong to this question. So here it might be that we are loading ID 2, so it will load all the choices which belongs to this question with ID 2 and then loop through it. So because we have got 2, it's looping through all those 2 choices, and now we have got those in nested in, or those into this li box. Python code which returns an iterable of choice objects and suitable for use. Yeah, same thing as I said. Removing hard-coded URLs in templates. Okay, that time has finally come when they tell us that what is use of that name in the URL configuration. So if we go to index.html, this is how we have written it. and they say that we can use this URL template. So it will look for it will look in the URL configurations and find the one with detail as name. All right, so the one with detail, where is that? So we will try name is equal to detail, and that is the polls slash this. So this will basically yeah, teacher question ID. Okay, so that's how it loads that. So whatever ID is there, for example, if we have got 10, it will return like this. So it has, it's basically I think it's called reverse lookup or something. It is actually looking for this path with which has got name as detail, and it tries to match that. Okay, fine, that's a good way, because if we change something here, we won't have to change the whole application. We will just have to change the path and it will just be changed everywhere. We don't have to go into the templates and change it. It's a good practice. Index and change this to this. Yeah, it's looking for this from polls.urls, polls folder urls.py file. Yeah, it's basically trying to say the same, that if we change anything, make any changes here, that how we want our question details to be displayed, we don't have to actually go into the index and do all those changes. Earlier we were hard coding it, but now we don't have to. It just takes the same thing from this URL's configuration and just populate it. Good. Now name spacing the URL names. The tutorial project has just one app, polls. In the real Django project there might be 5. So, which is also a good point, that if it's trying to search for a path with name as detail, then there might be many. There might be detail of blog post, detail of expense if we have got expense manager. So how Django is going to decide which view to load? So in that case we use app name, and that is polls in our case. Now change your polls/index.html from this to this. Yeah, so it will actually look for app name polls detail. So this app name is not like a normal variable. They might have defined it somewhere in Django that if there is a variable, this app name, if it's not defined, then they don't really it doesn't actually matter. But if it's defined, then it's like name is spacing. So this is name of the app, polls. So now it won't look in the whole application, it will just look for the application with the app name as polls. Good. Now change your polls index.html from this to this. Okay, good. Now let's look at it. We will first see index, go to this. It works fine. Yeah, good guys. So I'll see you in the next chapter. Till then, goodbye, and please don't forget to subscribe. I know it gets a bit boring because these tutorials or going through this documentation is a bit long, but that's it. We are not experts. I'm also a beginner like you guys. Okay guys, thank you, bye.